Yo, what's up? It's your boy E.T. Welcome to another edition of Mass Impact, the educational podcast. Now look, the reason why I started this, I truly believe that education is the way to close the gap. The wealth gap, the digital divide gap, the opportunity gap. Look, the American dream gap. Can I be honest? Everybody's not experiencing the American dream in the way it's supposed to be experienced. So the reason why we started the Mass Impact, the educational podcast, is to close that gap. Now look, mass is simple. It means motivate, actionable steps, which means what? We're gonna give you strategies every week. So we're not just gonna motivate you and inspire you, which is important, but we're gonna give you actionable steps. And look, it's a support system, y'all. Thus Mass. It's your boy E.T. Now you know. Let's go.
Honestly, every student is unique. I think we can agree on that. Maybe not how you see that, but I think we can agree that every student is unique. And as you look at me, right, I'm super unique, right? So different but unique. Right, so here's, again, working on my dissertation, here's the one theme I just kept seeing over and over again. Right? So every student retrieved from this analysis we sought to identify the critical components in effective schools include high expectations for students, right? That's number one. Right? I know this is going to be challenging for some of us, right? Because some of us are more factual than we are feelings, right? And just from a factual standpoint, when you look at a student, it's just like, they're not going to make it in this environment. And we have to be cautious because what we found is one of the indicators of schools that do well, is that schools that have teachers that have high expectations for students. Right? Again, like people sense your body language. Right? People feel your body language. Like we know that 70%, I think almost, of communication is body language. So I can tell when you don't think I can learn. Like I can tell. Like I can feel when you are doing what you're doing. It's like I walk into a room, I can tell the people, why is he here? I'm like, I was invited. I apologize. I don't mean to be hard, right? They selected me. Hopefully we can get to know each other, right? No, you do. You walk in and see people's body language. Like, I don't want to be here. I don't know why you're here. I don't know how this is going to change anything, right? That's your body language, right? And again, I'm not upset with you, but what you have to understand is it's manifestation. If you say a person's not going to succeed and you are the professional, then they probably don't have a chance because you're the professional. They're the amateur. If that makes sense, I just, as a PhD, as an educator, I just think I'm a professional. And I just think as a professional, I have more control than my students have. I went to school, she did very well to school. And I actually been in college. I actually got degrees. Like, I'm actually training. Like, this is what I do. I wear a cape. This is what I do. I literally went through school and learned. This kid is 10 years old, or this kid is 15 years old, this 16 years old. Probably the smartest, dumbest they'll ever be. Just be honest, I don't know, maybe we were good as teenagers, but I definitely wasn't. Like, I don't want to go back and look at myself as a teenager. Right? So number one of the things I teach is like we have to realize, regardless of how we feel about these kids, we are the professionals. That's why when I put my videos out, it changes lives. I believe I'm great at what I do. I believe in my work. So much so that when I put those videos up every day, we do 3, it's gonna change somebody's life. When I walk in here, and I meet several people whose lives have been changed, and they don't even know me. So the first thing I need you to understand is that we can't put the onus on the kids. Right? The onus has to be on the professional. Right? So again, the presence of high expectations is cited at or near the top of every, Thank you. All right, let's go over that again. Not from the top, I just mean the part with the presence, right? So the presence of high expectations is cited at and near the top of every investigator's list of essential elements. That's high expectations. Like just research. Like not how smart they are, not what family they come from. This is what the research tells us, that high expectations is at the top. It's at the top. So, okay, I work for the NFL. Let me just say this. They tell you that quarterback is at the top. If you want a good team, you need a good quarterback. I say that, according to the research, high expectations. So, I don't know how you do it, but one of the things that we have to do as teachers, we have to keep pushing is high expectations. That's a part of the culture, high expectations. Now, let me tell you what I mean in layman's terms. And maybe you guys can help me out. Does anybody in this room know
What is the most successful basketball franchise, NBA franchise in the NBA? Lakers, good. Number 2. Celtics, number 1. Why didn't you say the Pistons? Okay, so I want to show you something, right? I want to share something. So the Boston Celtics, I just want to show you how important this is. In that organization, when they get to hang the banners, they got a lot of banners. But as the Celtics, you only hang up one banner. You know what that banner is? I got it, yeah. Thank you. You know what that banner is? They only hang championship banners. That's it. They don't hang it if they don't win the championship. They don't hang the Eastern Conference champions. They don't hang it. Now, the Detroit Lions, we've never won a Super Bowl. But we do have a flag that's hanging that says we went to the playoffs. No, I'm just showing you expectations. Like, I don't know who idea that was to hang a flag that said we made it to the playoffs. Like, who thought about that? That's leadership. They thought it was okay to put up a banner that says we made it to the playoffs. So number one, listen to me very closely. I'm being honest. I don't care how you feel. Expectations have nothing to do with how you feel. Absolutely nothing. You just set high expectations. And you can set them in your classroom. You can send them home to their parents. You can make them put it in their phone. And you can tell them every day when they come in, we expect to win the Super Bowl. So just give me some things that we could tell the students every day when they walk in that's a part of high expectations. What are some of the things we can say to them?
We expect you to participate in class.
I expect you to participate in class. I walk in here today, absolute strangers. These kids never met me a day in their life. But they respond to me a certain way because when I come in, I'm setting high expectations.
Just as a school system, we expect you to be engaged in your learning process.
Good. We expect you to be engaged in your learning. It's actually easier for me to do what you want me to do when you tell me what you want me to do. It's actually easier. Okay, so off subject, right? When I was working on my dissertation, this is the craziest thing. I saw research that says that if kids can't read by the 3rd grade, the probability of them going to jail is great. You ever see that research before? Here's one of my biggest challenges. If that's the truth, why aren't 1st graders, why aren't 2nd graders getting this research? Like, why am I holding on to this research? So people thought I was crazy, but when I would talk to 1st graders, I'm like, you going to jail. I would just tell them, you going to jail. If you can't, look at what these stats say. If you don't learn how to read, so people look at me crazy like, why would you say that to the 1st grader? That's what the stats say. Why am I keeping the statistics from the kids that it's going to affect? So I need you to understand, you got to hurry up and learn how to read. Why? Because if you read, you have a better chance. So Katie, is Katie here? Katie, you start off. Can you come up real quick, Katie? So it's not here. But one of the slides that you use, because you're about literacy and reading. Yeah. So one of the slides you show is the difference between how high school, can you do that when if they graduate from high school?
Yeah. Memorized, yep.
Yeah.
Non-high school graduates 3.5 times more likely to be arrested in their lifetime. Oh gosh, somebody else help me.
Is it, they make $1 million more dollars?
And so we go through all of those statistics for the kids, yes, of the issues, and then all of the incentives for annual income levels. So high school graduates, $9,000 approximately make on average more than non-high school graduates. And then college graduates, $32,000 on average more, and $1 million over their lifetime, if you look at it that way. And then we also share with them that trade school graduates are often right around that same spot as their bachelor's degree graduates. So they're both excellent choices. We just want them to continue with education.
Good. Stay right there for me. So how many of us have those statistics hanging in the room when they come in every day? I'm just saying.
Not hanging, but I repeat it.
So I'm just saying, let's hang them up on the wall, like the Boston Celtics. Let's put them on the wall. Let's take engagement and define what engagement means and then reward them for engaging. I'm just saying, this isn't beating up on nobody. I'm just saying, we have certain expectations. And then when those expectations are met, okay, so I've been married over 33 years. My biggest fight, me and my wife, our biggest challenge has always been expectations. I'm just being real. Like, we never fought over nothing but expectations. The ones that I didn't meet that I didn't know I was supposed to meet. The ones that was in her head that I didn't even know I was supposed to meet. And the ones I had for her that I never shared, but she was supposed to know that that's what I wanted her to do. But the expectations that we never set at the altar. The expectations we never talked about when we was kids in high school dating. That's why most people get a divorce. Somebody didn't meet their expectations, but most of them you didn't even know they were expectations. So I'm just saying, high expectations, and what are those high expectations? Whatever they are, put them in the classroom so they can see them. Send them home with them. Text them to them. We got like a little voice thing, send them out. I've noticed that the teams that win the Super Bowl are always the teams that said they were going to win the Super Bowl. I guarantee you no team that thought about the Super Bowl ever lucked up on the Super Bowl. Nobody ever lucked up on being a doctor. I woke up today and I had a law degree, was sitting on my porch. I'm a lawyer. It doesn't work like that. Somebody had to say, I want to be a lawyer and put in work. So now we've got to show them what the expectations are, and then we got to show them what it takes to make those expectations happen. And so my man leaves the Patriots, he comes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and y'all win a Super Bowl the first year? Is that possible? It's not even possible. And then you won in your own hometown. Is that possible? Yes. Why? Because Brady left high expectations, and he came to Tampa Bay, and he showed the Buccaneers expectations they had never seen before, and they won a Super Bowl. We can do the exact same thing. There are other schools out here that look just like our school, that have the same demographics that we have, that have the same teachers and staff that we have, and they're excelling. But you know the difference? They don't talk problems, they talk expectations. They don't talk about the challenges like they can't be solved. They don't talk problems, they talk expectations. And when you put your target on expectations, you usually hit what you focused on. But if you want to focus on what kids can't do, then they're going to show up and do exactly what you told them they can't do. When you say what we can't do, that's exactly what we're going to do, what you said. But if we make the focus the expectations, we have a much better chance of hitting the expectation. I just want to know, does that make sense? Good. So it's right here. The top of each investigative list essential elements, along with such related factors as strong administrative leadership, a safe and orderly environment, school-wide focus on basic skill acquisitions above all other goals, and frequent monitoring of student progress. Can I tell y'all something real quick? Oh, let me read this. Okay, no, let me just say this to you. I worked at Michigan State. They brought me in years ago. I don't work there anymore, but when I worked there, they brought me in because they were saying black and brown kids don't do well, right? Can I tell y'all the biggest challenge I found? Here go the biggest challenge, was like monitoring. Like, come on, guys. You just gave this student an essay to write. They failed. And then you turn around and gave them another what? Another essay. Duh. What did you expect me to do? Pass the second time? I failed the first time. Why'd you give me another essay? What you didn't do was give me an essay and then do what? You didn't give me my feedback on it. You didn't show me specifically what I did wrong. I'm not talking about just marking up my paper. You're a pro. Why is it in the NFL when the quarterback throw an interception, you got to sit down and and now y'all looking at film? They don't just send you back out through an interception. Go get them next time. You can do it. No, you can do it. Sit down. You want a quarterback coach about to sit down, go over the play, and y'all about to figure out what you did wrong. We just keep giving them assignments, like the second time they're going to do better, or the third time they're going to do better. No, the first time they mess up is I got to show you what an A looks like. Because apparently you don't get it. I don't just keep giving you papers just to keep giving you papers. No, we have expectations, and we're going to get to the expectations. So we're going to tell you what they are, then we're going to show you what an A paper looks like. Matter of fact, before we even do a paper, let's just see what an A paper looks like. What are all the elements of an A paper? Does that make sense? So I found that if you would stop giving these babies tests and start showing them what they're doing wrong, I guarantee you we can get to, and absolutely that's exactly what we did. More kids in our program graduated because all I needed was feedback. That's all I needed. That's what I tell my wife all the time, sweetheart, I tried. So let's do this, because my wife says, you don't clean, you shift. I thought it was cleaning. If it's shifting, then show me what cleaning is. And it's different. When my wife clean up, it look like a hotel. When I clean up, you see stuff.
I thought it was clean. She said, that's shifting. All the stuff is still in the room. You just put it in a different place. I was like, but it's more organized. Right? So we want to show feedback. Watch this. Low achieving schools, meanwhile, are usually found to lack several of these elements. Staff members in those schools generally view their students as being quite limited in their learning abilities. It's just research. It's not Eric Thomas. You can look this up. There are traits of high-performing schools. There are traits of low-performing schools. The traits of low-performing schools is when they walk in, you see them as they can't do it. And guess what? They live up to that expectation. How do I know I'm a high school dropout? But an educator came to me and said, you need to get your GED and you need to go to college. You have an anointing, son. I'm like, I'm not really sure what an anointing means, and I definitely can't spell it. But I take your word for it. And he told me every single Sunday. I said, bro, you told me that you asked me that I finished school 5 weeks ago. Why you keep asking me? He said, because you're gifted and you're talented, and I'm going to say it until I get on your nerve, and you go get your GED, then I'm going to send you to the college that I went to. You're special, kid. He didn't say the truth. You're a high school dropout. You stink because you come into church without taking a shower. Your breath stank because you're not brushing your teeth. You're skinny. You're not taking care of yourself. He never told me that reality. He kept speaking to this guy right here. And here I am today, the #1 motivational speaker in the world, because that man he said high expectations for me. He said, get your GED and go to college. Do me a huge favor. Let's say high expectations. Don't tell them what they already know. We know that already. I already knew I was homeless. I didn't need nobody to tell me that. I already knew how I smelled. I knew that because I could smell myself. Because I didn't go in the presence of those people to be told what I couldn't do. I went in the presence of those people to hear you have what it takes. I went from a GED to a PhD because a man believed in me. Leadership, that said did y'all see that? One of the qualities of leadership, what's leadership? Whoever's up front and what the person up front is saying, and everybody else will believe what that person says. Right? I'm not saying, you gonna save them all? I don't know, but they saved me. I can only speak for me. GED to a PhD, that's some high expectations. And they were so funny. I got my 4-year degree. He was like, Eric, I heard you graduated. I did. What about, you thinking about going to get your master's? I said, my master's? I just barely got. He said, well, you just learned how to read and write. Why quit now? Leadership. You just learned the 8 parts of speech, son. Why would you go this far and quit? I thought Michigan State was going to give you a fellowship. I didn't know what a fellowship was. I thought that was greens, macaroni and cheese. Where I come from, fellowship means you eat after church. I didn't know fellowship means somebody gonna pay you to go to school and pay for you to go to school. So I went to Michigan State, finished my master's, and they said, you finished your master's. You work at Michigan State. They'll pay for you to get a PhD. You might as well go get a PhD. They kept setting the expectation, and I kept living up to them. With my non-reading self and non-comprehending self and non-SAT scoring and non-ACT, I just kept living up to their expectations of me. Quite limited in their learning abilities and do not see themselves as responsible for finding ways to raise the student's academic performance. Professional. Guys, can I just be honest? Teachers tell me all the time, your daughter was phenomenal. You didn't have to do nothing for my daughter. She was self-motivated and self-regulated. You didn't teach her. You babysitted my baby. You got to teach my son. Smarter than his sister, but not as engaged as his sister. So the problem is not intelligence. The problem is engagement. Our babies don't have a problem learning how to read and write. They have a problem in engagement. I asked these kids in every classroom we went to, how many of y'all want to be here? 1% raised their hand. Everybody said, I can't stand being here. Why? Because some of the teachers treat other students better than. Because depending on where you come from or what color you are, some teachers like you more than others. I ain't telling you the truth. I'm just telling you what they said. I don't know that it's the truth what they said. I don't teach them. I'm telling you what they said. Well, I don't want to be there. I can tell she don't like me. I can tell she don't want me in her class. Why would you want to go somewhere 180 days that you don't want to? Like most of you don't even want to be in here. You only do it because you're getting paid. You're going to get in trouble if you don't come.
They're not about to get in trouble. Don't nobody in their family care if they finish school or not. They didn't finish school. So I'm not putting the onus on some rookies. I'm putting it on the veterans. I'm putting it on the professionals. The low achieving schools are usually attributed to students' characteristics rather than the school's managerial and instructional practices. So look, we don't have a lot of time. So why is the flight assessment so important? Because what it'll do in your classrooms, it'll show you how you motivate kids. Y'all know how I finished college? Had nothing to do with a degree. A pastor came to me when I was in college. He was a professor. He taught theology. He came to me one day. He said, bro, you ain't finished school yet? I said, nope, I'm speaking. I'm making good money. I'm taking care of my family. You know what he said to me? You're going to be just like your daddy. I said, what? I don't even know my daddy. He said, exactly. He started stuff and he never finished. You're going to be just like him. You need to finish something for once in your life. I'm like, what? Let's go. I ain't gonna be nothing like my daddy. Yes, you are if you don't finish. He knew the triggers. Some of you in the room, they not dumb. You don't know the triggers. You use the same trigger for every student. Why? Because it's your trigger. Why? It's because that's how you like to learn. So because you like to read, you think everybody else wants to read. It's not that they can't do it, it's that you're not engaging. You don't know how to engage. You one-dimensional. So with the assessment, what we're gonna do is show you what motivates them. What's their preferred learning style? How you communicate with them? What are the blind spots and the possible limitations? What are their natural strengths and superpowers? So we helped the team that was considered underdogs win the national title. Watch what Coach says. Thanks for helping this team win their first big championship, in 71 years. First national title. Keep inspiring and motivating, leading people, Eric. And most of all, making a difference in their spiritual journey. Thank you. We gave them an assessment. I taught Coach, you can't coach all these boys the same. Look who you have in your team, and you do this, and I guarantee people thought Gonzaga was going to murder them. They beat Gonzaga by 20. Everybody can learn. Not everybody learns the same way. Everybody's interested in learning. Everybody's just not interested the way we're interested in learning. So watch this. I'm going to walk you through. Watch this. All right, we're going to get out of here. Not everyone who picked up the ball became Michael Jordan. I don't know if you know, but Mike got kicked out of high school. They said he wasn't good enough. I don't know who that coach was. He should get fired. I don't know who the coach was, but he couldn't see. He like, Mike, you ain't the one for this team. Unbelievable. Michael Jordan couldn't play basketball? All right, here's the difference, though. There go the difference right there, teachers. There go the difference. Because Mike was in the league. He never won a championship till the right coach came and gave him the right system. Somebody said this dude couldn't play. Somebody said this. Somebody kicked her off. Somebody said she shouldn't even be on TV. They said she shouldn't even be on TV. Go back and do the research. They said, girl, your face and gift is made for radio. Somebody told her she shouldn't be on TV. Now, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but when she came on, Ricky Lake, everybody who was on, all of them was gone. Oprah had the whole world following her. We had never seen it before. Why? Because somebody came. It's the teacher, y'all. It's not just the student. It's greatness in everybody, but not everybody everybody don't want to be filled. It's not that Oprah come on, Oprah, it wasn't Oprah. This who did. Everybody said Oprah couldn't do it, and Oprah was struggling, and this who came. It's not. The whole world said black girls don't play tennis, and Serena, you too big. You don't even have the shape of a tennis player. But if somebody said you're gonna be number one. Somebody told her you can do it. I don't care what they telling you. You can do it. I just want to know. Before we leave, you up for the challenge? Because I was a high school dropout living in abandoned buildings coming to church stinking, and I had my own craft. I had my own bill of check. They told me, go back, boy, you ain't finished. Go back and get your degree. And when you finish that one, get another one. When you finish that, I just ask you before you leave, whoever you are, whatever, are you ready? Because we coming, and we coming, craft, we coming. I brought my squad, we coming. I brought the squad. We coming to win. We ain't coming here to lose. Everything we touch turns to gold because of God. We coming to win. We're not coming here not to make a change. I don't know how many of y'all coming with us,
We coming to win. We're not coming here to lose. My name is attached to this. We're not coming to lose. I didn't get a PhD to lose. I didn't fly here from San Diego to lose. I came here to win. I don't know who joining me, but we came here to win and change some lives. 10 years from now, some kids gonna say, thanks for coming. 20 years from now, it's gonna be some kids saying, man, thanks. And they kids gonna say, thanks. I'm not trying to be funny. Ian, I heard you say to a group of kids, Ian, he's one of our speakers. We brought the best, y'all. 18-year-old, we brought the best. We're not by ourselves, we brought one of the best. You said you started listening to me at what age? Because who was listening to you? We not playing no games. I'm talking to his daddy, talking to him through his daddy. And now he working with me. Come on. He was traveling, he was 4 years old when he started. Now he traveling the world with me. Got his mom as his videographer. We coming to shake stuff up, y'all. We know there's greatness in Michael Jordan. We believe that. We believe there's greatness in Oprah. We believe that. We believe there's greatness in Venus and Serena. We believe that. We believe there's greatness in Tom Brady. Tom Brady was picked 199th. 7 Super Bowls. And if it wasn't for the Manning boys, he probably would have won 10. But they had somebody that believed in them too. Huh? Are you hearing what I'm saying? Good. So Brandon, before we get out, Brandon, what time? Brandon, I want Brandon to. We good? Good. Brandon's a University of Michigan grad who was ready to quit and give up. And Brandon started watching the videos, and I got in Brandon's life, and I realized what. I'm sorry. I realized what Brandon was. He's a grounds crew. I realized from this assessment, I realized what Brandon was. And I was able to help Brandon because I realized what he was. I didn't teach him how I was. I taught Brandon how he was. Brandon, can you just share the testimony?
So people think that I'm lying when I say that I wasn't that good of a student. And people think I'm lying because I got 2 degrees from the University of Michigan, one of the best schools, not just in the country, but in the world. But when I was a senior, I had a Spanish class that met 4 times a week. And it didn't matter how well you tested, it didn't matter how good your grades were. If you missed 16 classes throughout the course of a semester, you were done. You failed that class automatically. I had a spreadsheet. October 2nd, skipped class. October 15th, skipped class. I was keeping track because I wanted to make sure I missed 15 classes, no more, and definitely no less. You look horrified. You're like, why is he speaking right now? But that was who I was. But when I say that I wasn't that great of a student, it's not because I wasn't smart. It's not because I wasn't capable. It's not because I was bad at even the subject that we were studying, but I wasn't engaged. I was present sometimes, but I wasn't engaged. I'll give you another example. I was a gymnast my entire life. I did the sport of gymnastics for 15 years. I walked on to the gymnastics team at the University of Michigan in 2015. They had no system for us. There wasn't a plan. Great coaches, I loved them, but it was figured out. Now, once you start doing stuff, once you start training, I'll watch it and I'll try and correct it for you, but we're not gonna just walk in and hand you a plan. So I didn't feel like I had any direction. Kind of the same thing with school. I said, why am I studying this? No answers. Well, how does this connect to my future? No answers. Eventually, I stopped asking questions. So again, I was present, but not what?
Engaged.
I was present, but not engaged. In class, I was present, but not engaged. In the gym, I was present, but I wasn't engaged. Now, here's the thing that's crazy. When I started working for E.T., this is the first job I've ever had out of college, was with E.T. He had no problem. Have you ever had to come to me and get on to me for not doing my job?
I'm shocked to say you weren't engaged in college.
Have you ever had to get on to me for missing meetings or not fulfilling my responsibility?
Never.
I'll work 60 hours a week for this man. I'll work 70 hours a week for this man. No problem, no questions asked. Why? He knows how to engage me. Everything else I was present but not engaged. He understood, okay, I'm a ground crew, I'm an air traffic control. I need a system, I need a plan, I need details. So he didn't just say, hey, go practice, hey, go do this, hey, go help make us money, help make the company money. He said, I need how many gigs in a year?
2023, I need 20 gigs.
20 gigs. So as his booking agent, he said, here's the plan. 20 gigs, $200,000 per gig. Go do that. And he knew that I wouldn't necessarily set my own direction by myself on my own accord, but if you give me a direction, I'll attack it like nobody's business. And it's not that I'm lazy, it's not that I wasn't smart, but I needed a plan because that's the way that my brain is wired. If you give ET a plan, do you like having a plan, D? Do you like having a lot of details and structure to hold you down? No. So we're wired different. And we learn to use our superpowers to work together in a way where we can achieve things together that we couldn't possibly achieve on our own. So when I was in school, when I was in the gym, was I dumb?
Nope.
Come on, talk to me. Was I dumb? No. Was I stupid? No. Was I lazy? No. I was present, but not what? Engaged. It's the power of this assessment. And he didn't have some special gift of discernment that is available to any of you.
Right.
He had a tool. This assessment is Phil Jackson. This assessment is our craft. All right, so he's gonna walk you through it. But I'm just gonna say, if you have a cheat code to be able to do this and completely understand who you're talking to and who's in your classroom, and you're playing a game that you know that you're able to rig, I might take that bet.
Yeah, go for it. You there? Give me, break them down.
So, on the far left, people. This is your flight attendant, right? We like to use an airplane analogy. So, flight attendant. You walk on the plane, who's talking to you?
Unattended.
The pilot?
Nope.
No. The flight attendant. The flight attendant's talking to you. They have energy. Hey, welcome aboard. We're gonna have a great trip today. They're social, they're energetic, they connect with people. That's their superpower, that's what they love to do, right? It says that they're driven by that people experience. They're driven by optimism. They have a lot of energy. E.T. is a flight attendant. He's up here.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just gonna walk around and pace roll for a calm. So he has energy. He's energized by people. Pace, that's your ground crew. The ground crew are one of the most important roles. It's the glue that holds the entire team together. If you go on a trip and your experience was phenomenal, the food on the plane was great, pilot had a smooth landing, and you get there and your luggage is not there, how do you feel?
Not terrible.
It's a bad experience now. So the ground crew, they're not necessarily in front of everybody like that. They're not the flight attendant who gets energized by having this face-to-face dialogue with you. They're not going to have a lot of energy, but they're in the background doing those tasks to support everybody else. And without that support, the whole operation is going to go away. So they love the support. They're super, super loyal to the people that they work with. And they like to take things at a little bit smoother pace. Doesn't mean that they're slow.
That's right.
It just means that they're methodical.
Yeah.
Flight attendant moving fast as they can. The ground crew wants to take it a little bit slower. Procedures. Procedures, that's our air traffic controller. Have you ever seen an air traffic controller?
No.
I've flown on a lot of planes, I've never seen an air traffic controller. Why? Because they sit up in that tower, high up above everything. You don't necessarily see them. They're not going to talk to you a lot, but they're the ones with the plan. That was me, that's what I needed. I needed a plan. Because if their plan is off by 30 seconds, you're going to have a plane crash. And so they're perfectionists. Why? Because they have to be. They're detail-oriented. Why? Because they have to be. And then last but not least, the pilot. Results-oriented. You probably haven't talked to too many pilots. Now maybe after the flight's done, they'll come out and say hello to you. But for the most part, they're results-oriented. I have to get these people safely from point A to point B. If I'm talking to you, that's not flying the plane. That's not results-oriented. So the pilot's direct, they're decisive, they love a challenge. They like the fact that they're in control of that plane. But they're going to do one thing. Let's get the job done. These four different personalities are motivated by different things. So if you think about this in terms of the students that are in your classroom, you can look at this and probably start already without even having anybody take an assessment. You can start to see, I know a kid that's like this. I know a kid who's a pilot. He is direct and to the point. There's no fluff in his communication, and he wants results. And then you probably know who that flight attendant is too, right? That's the one who's you're getting on to him for talking in class. He's making jokes. He's making friends. That's your flight attendant. That one that says, excuse me, can you explain why we're learning this? Which one?
Grounds crew.
Ground
Air traffic control.
Right?
Yeah.
They got questions, they need a methodology behind it. They don't just want to know what, they want to know the why behind the what.
Yeah.
And they're motivated by different things. Again, your flight attendant is motivated by the experience, by the people. Your ground crew is motivated by the pace that they move at, by the support, the loyalty that they show others. Your air traffic controller is motivated by fear. They're a little bit of a perfectionist. They're sticklers for quality, so they want to do everything right. And then that pilot is motivated by results.
I love it. So just real quick, he said 20 gigs, 200,000.
I remember there was a time where I had to beg to get $5,000. But when I got this assessment, I became #1 in the world because when I speak to all 4 at once. Speak to all 4 people at once because I understand the assessment. So when I do a 30-second, I'm just hitting each one. When I do corporate now, I'm able to move everybody in the room. Not just in the room, but after the room because I know. Somebody told me the other day, it's like, man, E, why you talk so slow? I say, because everybody can't take that fast pace. Let me show you the numbers. I'm sorry. This thing is so smooth. All right, you guys should have got this and we'll do a video and send it to those of you who really want to learn more so you can figure it out. But I want to, Brandon, did we do the numbers? 4? So every time you walk into a building, this is how it breaks down. 12% of the population are pilots, 30% of flight attendants, 30% of grounds crew, 28% is air traffic control. I used to really mess up in life when I first started speaking because I would only speak to that 30%. Because that's what I am. I'm gonna give y'all an example, all right? I remember when I first started doing corporate work, it was predominantly like baby boomer and Generation X white males, right? And I'd be in a room killing it. That's my best speech ever. They just staring at me. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Right, but once I got this assessment, I realized everybody didn't grow up in the black church. That was my experience, the black church. So I'm like, yo, they should be saying amen on that one right there. Like, I'm not getting no energy. So because I wasn't getting energy, I'm doing something wrong. I'm not saying the right thing. It had nothing to do with that. We had different experiences. And many of those baby boomers in the room wasn't moved by my energy. But when I started doing statistics, I noticed they started sitting up a little bit more. When I started talking about how I can help your staff make $100,000 more in the next 30 days, I noticed they started saying, oh, okay, what does he have to say? And then when I started getting results, I became the #1 motivational speaker in the world. The problem is not just the student. You coming in as a flight attendant, and now you hit 30% of the class, but you miss 70%. You come in as a pilot, you got 12%, you just miss 88% of the kids in the room because they don't particularly care for that style. So I'm not suggesting you change, but I am suggesting if you want change to happen, you're gonna have to become aware of what you are and become aware of what they are, and then you're gonna get to change. What a beautiful thing to be able to walk in the classroom and just know, he's a Michael Jordan. He just wants results. So when I do corporate now and I walk into a room with a corporate individual and they're not talking and they're not smiling, I don't go there mean anymore. I say, he just want to make money. Let's talk money talk. I walk in the room and he's smiling. I'm like, he a flight attendant. Let's not talk money. Let's talk people. He's more interested in change. Grounds crew, they just want to support. Mother Teresa didn't have no voice. You don't know what she sounded like. She's not Dr. Martin Luther King. You don't remember her voice. She had no strong voice. She just was super supportive. So when you talk to this personality about, how can we help support other people? And then the final one, air traffic control. I say this, and again, my son always like, Dad, you shouldn't say that, but I like to be transparent. I truly believe to this day, had those people on that helicopter with Kobe Bryant listened to this air traffic controller, they would still be alive today. Because the air traffic controller said, don't do what? Don't fly. I'm trying to show y'all the importance of each one of these. The air traffic controller said, don't fly. It's too foggy. You're not going to be able to see. But that pilot, that strong personality, said, we can do it. We've been doing it. They weren't flying. They weren't fighting a war. They was going to a middle school basketball game. It wasn't necessary. The LEPD had all their planes, but this is what happens when you don't know all the personalities. When you don't respect the air traffic control, you as a leader want to move without a plan. You need an air traffic control. You don't build a building without an engineer. But in most of our schools, leadership, you think because you're strong and because you got a strong personality that you can lead. No, you can't. You can't lead without a plan. So we need a full plan first. Then once we get that full plan, then we can execute on that plan. Does that make sense? So I just want to show you what a joy it is when you walk in and you know what each one of your students are. And I don't have no superpower. I just had the assessment. But I use these terms because kids can understand
the theory of the disc without really knowing the disc. The disc is a lot of theory. It's a lot of theory. It is. Yep. But when you understand what their superpower is, you know one is leading the other one. So my wife is a pilot, but she's also an air traffic control. But her pilot leads her air traffic control. Does that make sense? Good. All right, so let's go. Q&A. Q&A. We're enough. We got to get out of here in about 7 minutes, 4 o'clock. I want y'all to leave on time so y'all can like me. Good, let's go. I don't want y'all to stay late. His first visit, we stayed 20 extra minutes. We're not gonna do that. 10 minutes and we're out. Yes, ma'am.
How can we get this to our kids? How can we
We're gonna give you a video, a series of videos for free. You're gonna watch those videos on your own time. You'll learn this. Once you feel comfortable with it, you'll call us. We'll give you links to give to your students. You'll have your students take it, and then you'll be a psychic.
All right.
You'll be a psychic.
So what if you're like me and didn't fill out the survey on time because, things happen?
Flight attendant. It's always something happening with us. We do too much. We got you. Don't worry about it. We'll get it to you. No problem. We'll get it to you. Yeah, we'll get it to you. And it's a system. It's a language that everybody understands. We all will be aware. And imagine if we're all on one accord. And we know, oh, that's why she does. Because you get upset with other teachers, like, why didn't she do that? Because this is her preference. That's why she did it. She's not against you, or she's not mad, or she doesn't disrespect you. She just likes to do it this way. So once we learn each other's, then we're going to do a much better job. And that's why the ecosystem, that's why I use a pilot, whatever. I've seen other stuff like animals. I'm like, what does a gorilla and a turtle have to do with each other? They don't even meet each other, right? So we use this because all of them need each other. Because sometimes people will go, well, I want to be that. That's not what you are. Learn to love you. But when you do it like this, you realize, yo, I need a grounds crew. I need my bags when I land. I do. I need a pilot, but I also need a flight attendant because I just love the way they, give me my peanuts and water when I'm on the plane. Good job. Any other questions before we get out of here? 9 minutes.
This one's kind of random. How do you deal with not being able to reach every kid? Because there's kids that you can come up and they're going to be on board and all of that. And how do you keep pushing? Do you just keep pushing? Do you just keep going?
You keep pushing, but now you push with their personality. So if I'm a flight attendant, if you are a pilot, don't try to push me. Because we don't speak the same language. So you're pushing me in vain. But if I'm a flight attendant and I push you, it's a different language. Because remember what I told you, the pastor was like, go to school, go to school, go to school. I love it, but he was an army man. But it was actually his wife who used to hug and kiss me that really pushed me. Because I'm a feelings guy. I'm an emotional guy. So when she would hug me and kiss me and go, baby, go get your GED. He was an army man. Go get your GED. Didn't I tell you? I'm like, bro, relax. Like you got shell shock or something. Like, oh, what happened? Relax. But when she would kiss me, hug me, make me a plate, I don't know what it was about that fried chicken and that macaroni, but she drew me in. And it was like, baby, go to college if you love me. So I will say this, and you guys already know this, but we do get a better response from some kids, not all. When they know we love them and we care, they get a different response. And every child does not learn from being rough with. They have different personalities. But again, when we figure out what they are and then we know our peers, we can tell our peers, sick them. And our peers can speak their language and do a much better job. Does that make sense? Good. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
I'm just going to respond to that. I used to have a sign in my classroom that said everyone does everything. So even though it might pop into our head that, oh, what if we aren't going to reach them all, right? The expectation is that everyone does everything. We have high expectations for everyone. And the belief that some of them maybe we're not ever going to see them get to where we want them to be, but we are seed planters. And so maybe it happens 10 years after they leave us.
Voila.
We need the whole time to turn our classroom.
That's it.
Does everything, high expectations for everyone. They're all capable of success, even if we never see it. But hopefully we're planting seeds and then they bloom later on down the road.
Because we all want to please and impress the people we love the most. Okay, do me a favor. I just said something to you. You may not be able to get to them, but Jay-Z might be able to. Beyonce might be able to. Use the videos. I'm just saying, you might not be able to get to them. So use the videos that you use. I'll never forget, I used to speak, internationally. And they'd be like, why are you always talking about basketball and football? Like, we don't know about basketball and football. And I was like, I had to start talking about soccer. Because it's an international sport. I ain't know nothing about no soccer. But when I started naming the soccer players, they would sit in, right? I start corporate, I was basketball, football. My boy was like, start talking back nine. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't play golf. I'm like, all right, you don't have to play. Just go study. And I'm like, listen, this is like the back nine. They was like, well, back nine, what are you with tea time? They're like, tea time? It's just their language. They love it. People love their language. People love, listen to me, small stuff, guys. Chick-fil-A, they don't even have as many stores. They're killing the game. Why? They actually use your name. Burger King went out of business. Why? They couldn't get it. I'm not 0532. Why is that hard? Have you ever been in a restaurant, you're just sitting there, 0562. I'm just sitting there. They're like 0562. I'm like, okay, that's not me. A double cheeseburger, oh no, that's me. It's small stuff. Chick-fil-A never uses a number. Eric, I always respond to that. It's small. But Chick-fil-A has high expectations. I don't know where. I think they got the test, Brandon. I think they got the test. I'm being honest. Why? Because everybody at Chick-fil-A is friendly. And be careful. They use a certain age. Once you get to that grumpy age, they don't hire you at Chick-fil-A. I'm just being real. It's a grumpy age and a grumpy experience. They don't hire you at the counter. They don't. They have people who smile at the counter. They have people who say hello in your name, right? And they know everything. I went to a Chick-fil-A and I was like, I had a question. And I was like a shake or something. She said, and we have the answer. I was like, I love it. Ever gone somewhere like you feel like, man, they don't want my money here? You don't come back. It's an experience. So we don't have to always be the people to do it, but if we use the people that they like, then they can go, oh, but we still give them the lesson, we just don't give them through. So maybe use my video or some rap song. I just had a song, it's a young lady, I don't get into the new rap, but Doja Cat, she has a song called Get Into It, yeah? And so I just started playing that and using it. I said, look, she just said, it's right here, she said it. If you got a buck, get into it. I said, what does that mean? It's like, it's money. I said, okay, what happened? When you get money, you get excited. Okay, she said the second one. If you get a truck, get into it, yeah? What does that mean? It's like, yo, you get a new car, you excited, I said, okay. She said, if you go to church, get into it, yeah? What does that mean? Well, if you don't really like going to church, you there, so you might as well get into it. I'm like, absolutely, so do me a favor. You don't like math, get into it, yeah? And I come in class and I play the song every day. I play the hook when they come in. Like, I'm playing the hook, get into it, yeah? And they like, man, Mr. Thomas, yeah, we're gonna get into it, yeah? So I'm not the one that said it, she said it. But it's a song that they love and it's gonna get them to learn, so let's use everything we have. We're professionals. Sometimes you gotta do the double reverse. The flea flicker, the Statue of Liberty. You know what I'm saying? You just got to switch it up sometimes because the normal thing isn't working. So as a pro, you don't keep doing what's not working so you can be angry and mad. I'm just being real. Can we go here this last minute? We got to go to work every day. I don't be around people who want to come to work. You angry for what? Life is short. I just lost my grandmother. She was 93 years old. I only spent 51 years with her. It was short. Then my other grandmother lost my other grandmother 3 weeks later. 91 years old. I realized like life is short. What you coming to work for if you got an attitude? Go get another job. This is America. They got options. You don't got to stay where you don't want to be. You got a degree. Be an entrepreneur. But do me a favor. This country is great because of its educational system. That's what makes it great. If you've been in other countries, they don't have an educational system. They don't have free public schools. This is where equality happens in school systems. This is where you grow and become a professional. This is where you start to read and write and explore the world, right here. And if our school system goes down, don't think America's going to be America in another 20, 30 years. If our school system goes down, we're going to be like other countries. This is the vanguard, not just the military. They protect us. You guys grow us. So if you don't want to be a part of America and this educational system, go somewhere where you could be happy. There's a lot of options in America. You don't have to do what you don't want to do. That's what makes America great, is that we do have opportunities. So you chose this one. If you're gonna be in the classroom, be the best you can be. Because if you're the best you can be, that's the only way we can guarantee they're gonna be the best that they can be. So I hate to push you, but welcome to America. Welcome to America. I still drive a Cadillac. Welcome to America. I still do Ford, GM. My mom worked at Ford, my father at GM. I still buy GM products. I still buy made in the USA. And the reason why I'm in this school is because I'm not gonna talk about this country. I'm gonna do my part to make sure this country stays. A lot of people talk, a lot of problems and issues. No, I'm gonna do my part to show I love this country. And I'll come to whatever school district I have to. I'll spend as much time as I have to because I believe in this country. And if you're a true educator, you believe in this country. And so it's our job not to talk about what these kids can't do, but it's our job to see the Michael Jordan in them, to see the Serena in them, to see the Tom Brady in them. It's our job not to have them come to us great, but to develop them into their greatness. Thank you so much for your time. I look forward to seeing you guys throughout the year.